I'll be unboxing the Anet A8 3D printer. It's a Prusa type 3D printer that Gearbest sent me, and it's a really cheap one. I believe that it's around $150 for the 3D printer that has a whole 22 centimeters square build size. So as you can see here is the current price of the 3D printer. So 150 euros. It's really cheap. I believe that's maybe the cheapest printer I've ever seen. And the specs are, yeah, there, 20 centimeters per 22 centimeters build size per 24 centimeters in height. So it's a pretty decent build area, and it also has a heated bed. So I'm really curious to see how this performs. It's my fourth 3D printer because I already have a Tuning Fabricator Mini Mainline M150 that is also a Prusa type 3D printer, which is really similar to this one. And I also have a Delta-Wafts 2040, which is my bigger and best printer so far. So let's see how this one does. So, as you can see right here, everything is well packed. It has individual space for each stepper motors. You have label on every motor to tell you which axis they refer to. So this is the Z-axis motor, the Y one, and the X one. There's also 3D printed part, which is very interesting, and for the blower. So this is the main control board. Well, actually that's the PSU. Here we have the hot end with a stepper motor included. So this is the main frame of the 3D printer. Everything is laser cut and really clean, really nice look. I believe this is maybe 6 or 7 millimeter acrylic. There are some small bearing and screws. Don't want to lose them. It's really interesting how everything is well packed. You have individual compartment for each piece. So this is the main board. And a static free bag, which is very nice. Here we have the display unit. I really like how everything is labeled, so you really know which part does what. A standard USB cable and a belt. So this looks like a hot hand fan, micro SD card with an integrated USB reader, and so this is the heated bed. Yeah, it's pretty decent, pretty big. It already comes with tape pre-installed, which is really nice. Here we have some tools. Some PLA filament. Some standard bearing for the access, a power cable which plugs directly into the PSU, as you can see. A whole bag of screws, which, as you can see, every screw is labeled, so you really know what length you are dealing with to ease up the installation process. So this is the heated bed bracket. And finally, that's all. So everything is well packed. It's really nice. You have every piece labeled, so you know what you're dealing with when you're gonna to install the build the 3D printer. You also have I don't know where I put it, a USB, a micro USB reader with an integrated USB, and I believe that all the installation instruction, there might be videos and how to, are inside this micro SD. So I cannot build this one. What I'm gonna do now is build this 3D printer. I'm gonna try it and see you back later for a full review. Hey guys, so I'll now be reviewing the Anet A8 3D printer after a few weeks of use. As I said before, this is my 5th 3D printer, so I already have a 20GB Fabricator Mini, Melian M150, which is very similar to the Anet A8 but with a steel frame, Creality CR7 and a Delta Rafts 2040. So, as for the Anet A8, let's talk first about the build and assembling instruction. Well, I have to say that this 3D printer is very easy to build. You have an SD card with all the details you need inside. You have links to assembling video that are available on YouTube. I will put the link to these assembling instructions in the description. You also have PDF files with all the steps you can follow to build the 3D printer. My recommendation is to just follow the video because it's really simple in the video, and build is very straightforward. I didn't encounter any hard step during the build, and everything, as I say, is very well detailed. So build and assembly instruction is very easy for this one. I think that even a beginner that never used a 3D printer before will have no trouble building this. It's just like a big Lego game. It's really easy to build. Then you also have the setup for the 3D printer. It's the setup of the slicer on your PC, and here again it's very easy to set up because you have in the SD card the setup files for Cura, for example. You can also download the latest version online, and you also have the INI files to configure the 3D printer. And here again you have PDF files with a lot of steps. I believe there are something like 80 pages sheets on the PDF, so it's very easy to build and follow. Don't worry if you never own a 3D printer, you can totally start with this one, as everything is well detailed and explained. You have no trouble building this 3D printer and using this 3D printer at all. So this is the second 3D printer I built myself after the Creality CR7. And I find that this one, even though it is a bigger one, it's like 3 times the size of the Creality CR7, I think that it's a lot easier to build because everything is well explained, and you have also all the configuration file onto the SD card. So as for the Creality, it's a 5 star out of 5 stars for me. Then, so let's talk about the print quality and using this 3D printer. Is it a good 3D printer? Well, we all know that it costs only 150 bucks, even less if you have it on flash sale. It's pretty often on flash sale on Gearbest. So the print quality, to be honest, I was pretty amazed with the print quality on this one. I didn't expect it to be that good, but the print quality is actually very good, as you can see here on some 3D printed object that I printed. Even at the layer height of 0.2 millimeters, the print quality is really good. You can barely see the layers of the filament, and I was really not expecting such a quality, and I believe that the print quality can be so good because of the belts that are very easy to tighten. So this is really important in a 3D printer. You want to make sure that your X and Y axis belt are really tight, so there's no wobble in the hot hand while it's printing. And actually it's very easy to tighten the belt on the Anet A8, so which makes a lot of less room for wobbling and makes the print quality really good. So I was really amazed by the quality of the 3D printer, and also by its sounds. I know that this 3D printer has linear bearings, so I had a Melian M150 before, and it was very loud. You could hear the bearing sliding with a lot of noise, and I was pretty amazed by the Anet A8 because the bearings are actually pretty quiet, and this 3D printer is on the 5 3D printer as own, is I believe the second more quiet, almost the first, the quieter printer I have, because when you're printing at standard speeds like 30 or 40 millimeters per second, it's really quiet, and you can have it sitting on your desk while using your computer next to it. You won't be bothered by the sound of this 3D printer. So we talked about the assembling instructions, which are very easy, and the print quality, which is fairly good for this 3D printer, which brings us to the price to quality ratio. This 3D printers is like 140 euro on Gearbest, and it has a fairly decent build size volume with a 22 centimeters per 22 centimeters in terms of X and Y axis, and 24 centimeters in terms of 8 the Z axis. So to be honest, I think that this is the best price to quality ratio 3D printer you'll be able to find right now. There are a lot of other cheap 3D printer on the market, but like the Creality one, for example, but the build size are not that important, and you won't always find a heated bed on the cheap 3D printer. The fact that you can have a heated bed, a fairly great build size for the 3D printer, and a package that comes with everything you need and is very easy to build, make this 3D printer a really good 3D printer for me. Plus you have a hot end that is pretty good too, The main problem I had with my previous 3D printer of this Prusa A3 style, the Melian M150, was that the hot end was always clogged. It was a really mess. It was really a pain in the ass to use because the hot end was always getting clogged, and I didn't encounter this kind of problem with the Melian with the Anet A8. So it's a really good 3D printer for me. So this brings us to the pros and cons of this 3D printer. First, let's talk about the pros. First, it's super cheap and it has a really good print quality. You can't go wrong with this one. It's also easy to build and use. Assembling instructions are really clear and easy to follow, and you also have all the configuration file and setup to use it in the SD card. So don't worry about this. Even if you're a beginner, you will have no trouble using this 3D printer. Another really good thing that I liked about this 3D printer is that the Z-axis limit switch is adjustable in height, and this is really good. Why? Because it gives you a lot of more room for adjusting for leveling the bed, the heated bed, and you can also add a glass bed if you want, because you will be able to adjust the Z limit switch in height to raise it to compensate for the glass bed. For some, what I like to do on the 3D printer is just buy a really cheap photo frame, remove that costs something like $1, remove the glass and use the glass of the photo frame onto the heated bed to have a heated bed for $1. And you can totally do this with the 3D printer because you can adjust the Z-axis limit switch in height. So the first major upgrade I will do for this one is just add a glass bed, because it makes your print look so much better, and it's also very easy to remove the print, because once the glass cools down, the print automatically pops out of the bed. So the fact that you can adjust the Z-axis is a great plus for me, and I love this fact about 3D printer. Then you also have a lot of room for upgrade for this 3D printer. So it's just $150, but if you want to spend a little more bucks, like $50, you can easily do a lot of upgrade for this 3D printer. You can add a glass bed, you can add some extra fans for an extra cooling of the hot hand, or the stepper motors, and you can also print a lot of pieces and parts to upgrade this 3D printer. Which brings us to another pro of the 3D printer, and maybe the most important one for me is the community. The community is very important for a 3D printer because you will be able to find a lot of part, STL file, and support for the 3D printer. And there are a lot of users of the Anet A8, and you can find a ton of 3D printed part and STL file for this 3D printer for the Anet A8 online, and it's really great because you'll be able to upgrade your 3D printer with 3D printed part that you'll be able to find online, and also you'll be able to find some forum and support to talk and exchange about this 3D printer, and even for some troubleshooting if you ever encounter a problem with it. So the fact that the community is really big and really important for the 3D printer is a big pro for me. I think about this because I also have another 3D printer that is really expensive, the DeltaWatts 2040, that is something like $3,000. And the community, as it's a really expensive printer, is very small, and I always struggle to find support or 3D printed part like STL files to upgrade my printer. In fact, I was not able to find any of them as for now. So the fact that a lot of people are using the Anet A8 and sharing the part they have made and their STL files is really great. So always, if you're going to buy a 3D printer, always consider the community around this printer because it's really important for you. Now, let's talk about the cons. Well, to be honest, for the price, I don't find any cons for the 3D printer. Well, yeah, it has some linear bearings which are not always the best, but as I said before, they are very quiet, so it's not really that bad, and you can always upgrade them with high-glue bearing later if you want. And that's about it. Well, the hot end is not a super high quality one, but I didn't had any clog or trouble using this hot end, and you can also, if you want, upgrade it with a higher quality hot end like an E3D one. I've seen some people using this 3D printer upgrade to an E3D hot end, so it's always there if you want to upgrade, but for the price of this 3D printer, really I don't find any cons. So this brings us to the conclusion of this review, and should you buy it? Well, for me, yes, you should totally buy this 3D printer. If you're a beginner or even an experienced 3D printer user, you will have a ton of fun using it, and you'll be able to use it and print a large variety of filament. It has a heated bed, so it will print PLA, PETG, and even ABS without trouble. It also say that you can print nylon within, but I didn't try printing nylon because nylon has a very high needs a very high extruder temp. But it's overall a really great 3D printer, and for the price you can't go wrong with it. So should you buy it? Yes, for me it's a go. And that brings this review to an end. So I hope you guys enjoy this review, and that it might be helpful to you if you are looking to buy this 3D printer. So see ya.